We knew that eventually we wanted to work for ourselves. We didn't know what that looked like. We just knew that that's what was going to happen.
Welcome to Built for Profit podcast, where entrepreneurs share real stories and strategies that actually work. We're here to inspire, challenge, and give you the playbook to profit with purpose. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So I just love the name of our brand today. You already know it's one of my favorite things about, it's not why we chose it, but it's how it got a seat at the table to begin with. It's an industry that is booming, but I saw after we scheduled this podcast, now I've seen these all over, and you're going to start seeing them all over too, because they are driving around, dare I say, zooming around everywhere
in your neighborhood.
And we have Renee Tater from Zoomin Groomin with us today. And if you don't know what Zoomin Groomin is, she's about to tell us. So Renee, welcome to the Built for Profit podcast. We're so excited to hear more about you and Zoomin Groomin.
And we are a mobile pet spa. And we have a big blue van with a full service spa in the back. We groom cats and dogs and all ages, all sizes, all temperaments, all breeds. So it's more of a luxury grooming service, and we come right to your front door. We don't have to hook up to anything when we get there because the van already has the water and the power and everything we need in it to pamper each pet one-on-one.
Nice. Okay, so this is a true story, and I would assume this is why people come to a place like Zoomin Groomin. So I have a Yorkie poo, cute as can be. However, he does not love going to get groomed. And twice I have been called to pick him up because he goes a little crazy and has smashed his face and got a nosebleed. I mean, in a gentle way. I mean, I'm not talking about like, needs to go to the pet hospital or anything or the vet, but he just gets so anxious in those types of environments, and maybe all the other smells of dogs, things like that, just make him and, nosebleed Cooper. So
he's not here to defend himself.
That is
he's like under the table. I said he was in a bar fight, but I don't know.
Is that one of the reasons that people use something like Zoomin Groomin, because it kind of alleviates a lot of those external factors?
Sure, that's
what do you
very
see?
common. And I have to say that I also have a Yorkie Chihuahua mix. And so before I even discovered Zoomin Groomin, I was looking into mobile grooming for the same reasons. But yeah, we get that call all the time. My pup's anxious. Car rides are horrible for my dog. A lot of rescues are just overly anxious, and they require kind of a therapy, sort of like a rehabilitation to get them used to the grooming process. Also, another reason, a lot of dogs are just older and can't get in the car or don't need to be around other pets. Some can't get vaccinations to protect them from certain things, so they're not allowed to be around other pets. So there's a variety of reasons. One big thing that I actually discovered in Florida when we first moved there, no one would groom big dogs. It was nearly impossible for me to find someone to help us with our Doberman. So we get a lot of those calls too. Do you groom big dogs?
The spa aspect, I mean, I'm surprised you don't have adults trying to sneak in the back of the van.
So that happens.
And because that would be relaxing.
I've absolutely been at events. We do a lot of events out in the community. I've absolutely been at nail trimming events with my groomers and had men try to get into the salon thinking that they can come in and get a manicure. It's
oh my gosh, so funny. So I know I saw that you moved to Florida. And did you move for this business to be there, or take us through a little bit of either how you got into it and how this came to be?
I've always wanted to live in Florida. That's been a dream of mine. And my husband and I knew all along, we got married 14 years ago. We knew that eventually we wanted to work for ourselves. We wanted to start a business, and we wanted to end up in Florida. We didn't know what that looked like. We just knew that that's what was going to happen. So we actually made plans to get to Florida first, and it was very scary. We had no idea what we were going to do when we got there. But kind of like you mentioned and seeing the vans all over town, it just kept happening. So I took that as a sign and ran with it. And so we opened in June of last year and we moved there the November before. So yes, we got down there and then we started the business and it's been awesome. It's been awesome.
Okay. So this is interesting. So there wasn't quite a plan with moving to Florida, which is how a lot of people stumble into entrepreneurship. Would you agree?
Yeah. You didn't wake up one day and just look longingly into Justin's eyes and say, you know what? I think we should go and get a franchise that does dog
Definitely
grooming."
not. And actually, he was 100% against going with a franchise. He did not want
Justin?
anything to do with it. To be fair, he had a bad experience right out of high school with one. But
Okay.
it took me almost a year, maybe 6 months to get him to see that I was right and that this is how and that this is what we should go with. And I do enjoy hearing him say that we made the right decision.
Renee, I can respect that. I
That's
always say
right.
win them over or wear them down, whatever works.
Okay. So what did you know about it, or what did you find enticing about franchising before entering? And then how has that shifted? Or, what would you say if we were not already knowing the benefits about franchising? What would you say to
Okay,
us?
so it's really everything's mapped out for you that you can put all of your focus on doing the things that you're really good at. So for me, that would be talking to people, getting in the community, on building a strong team, and not so much on where to start with. I would have had no idea where to start with putting a van together and what I needed to put in this spa to make the dog grooming business work. But they've literally mapped everything out for you. There's so much support and they've grown so quickly. Like just the franchising to me is the way to go. I couldn't have done it myself. I couldn't have done it myself.
What's the thing that you realized you needed most? There's like from their support.
I want to say all of it. I want to say all of it because it's every day I'm learning something new from someone on our team, whether it's another franchisee, someone at corporate. I'm learning something new every day, following up with customers. That's something that sometimes we can easily forget. Something that simple, having someone remind you the importance of that, reminding you of the importance of getting out in the community, just the whole feeling of being a team. We all work together so great, and just I love that, and not so much feeling on my own.
No, absolutely. Because entrepreneurship can be lonely. And you mentioned community a couple of times, and we're really big on that, giving back and plugging in, because you're taking care of basically an extension of their
Absolutely.
family, right? Something that they love and they care about. So tell us what that means to you.
Love to find ways to give back, whether it be setting up somewhere like yesterday. Actually, we set up in a community and did free nail trims for pets. We do that at least once a month. So just setting up and doing these free nail trims, because I feel like people pay a lot for everything for their pets, really. So if we can help them out a little bit and do free nail trimming in between their grooming services, then we like to do that. We also will do $10 nail trims and then take all that money and donate it to a shelter. So just any way that we can get out and make that known that we're here to help. And another thing is helping the shelters get the dogs cleaned up, or cats, getting pets cleaned up before adoptions. That is big to me.
Yeah. And people love, first of all, I would have been at that free nail trimming. So love that you did that. But people like just supporting businesses that are doing something to help and make a difference. That example that you just gave of, taking, say, that $10 and putting it towards a shelter, animal lovers care about that. And they want to support someone else who also has that same vision. And so it's like this triangle of, it helps awareness for Zoomin Groomin. Maybe I didn't know about it before. And great for a $10 nail trimming because that helps the customer. And together, we're also helping these dogs and cats in a shelter. And just like this circle of making a difference and making an impact,
and that makes people feel good.
Absolutely. We see a lot of people show up at these nail trimming events that are already customers, but we also gain a lot of new customers from it. Of course, that's not the only reason we do it, but that is a huge plus. So
We're talking about the community in general. Let's focus down a little bit, smaller community, a little bit about how your entrepreneurship journey, right, for you and your family, how has that shifted or how's that
oh
impacted
wow.
your family?
So it's still, yeah,
I
we're
like,
still
oh,
trying
wow.
to find a balance there, because where we were a year ago is 100% not where we are now. I went from sitting around almost bored, homeschooling my kids, spending time with nobody but them, to now it's at times it feels like there's not enough time. But we figure it out. We make it work. I get them involved. So I pay my kids to clean the vans, to wash the vans, clean the vans. They help at events and stuff like that. So a lot has shifted in the way that I'm not getting the same family time that I was, but we're all trying to find that balance together and to make it work, because really this is our future. This is my kids' future, you know?
And Renee, Elizabeth talks a lot about this. First of all, good for you for putting your kids on payroll.
Yep.
Right. Good strategy there. But you can speak more to that, but just the things you're teaching them.
Yeah. I love that kids, I think as a parent, you can feel, they say feeling guilty, and I don't want to say I don't feel guilty. I think from the beginning, I was so clear on I'm showing, and I feel like you could relate to this because your kids have been seeing you work for such a long time, but we're showing them what it's like to work towards something and see the success, see the struggle, achieve, build something. You've talked so much already about giving back to the community. You can talk to your kids about the importance of being involved in their community, but you're showing them, like, they're seeing these events that you're doing, and a free nail trimming, and they can understand. They're also learning some marketing strategies, whether that's intentional or not. They're learning that from you. But you can talk work ethic all day long, but when our kids see it, it lands so differently. And when they see, I was watching someone recently and he was saying, anytime I'm in a position to take my kids with me on something where I'm likely to fail, I be sure to take them along, because our kids learn so much from watching us be resilient, come back, figure something out. Again, like, you can talk about this all day long, but we all know, because we're all moms, they learn so much by seeing us. Oh, it's not going so well. Oh,
Yeah.
look at, she kept her attitude. And that might not be like, their mind might not say, oh, look at mom keeping her attitude, but they see how we respond and how we're resilient. And then they carry that through. There's so much they're learning right now that, although it's different than the way that you were training or teaching them in homeschooling, you're teaching them something so different, but it's not of more or less value.
That's a really awesome way to look at it. I've never thought about it that way, but you're absolutely right. And just looking back to a couple months ago over the summer, they had me make up business cards for them so they could go around, and instead of just washing the Zoomin Groomin vans, they started washing all the cars in the neighborhood. So that's really cool that you pointed that out. That makes me proud.
Yeah, and should we tell her our little secret? So
Please.
we're going to tell you something, and we like you, want you to like us when we get done telling you this. I don't really believe there's such a thing as balance.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an ing word, Renee. So give yourself some grace. It's an ing word, and you're always balancing. Because if you stood on one leg, you are not just balanced to stay that way. It's
Sure.
continual, right? To balance. So I always tell people the pendulum goes both ways.
Okay.
I just met you, but I know you have days where you work really hard, and there's some days you may goof off a little.
I never sit on the beach and work. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I know they're vicious rumors that circle around Florida. No, I'm not going to mention where we're seeing your band parts. Nothing, all good things. But like I said, give yourself grace. You're doing amazing things. I mean, homeschooling alone. Oof.
Yeah, that's a struggle.
Yeah, right. It probably gave you patience. Yeah. Mine started getting too smart for me. That didn't work.
So Going back to, navigating a little bit of, obviously it is a balancing act when it comes to the family aspect. But did you know from the beginning, like you and your husband were both going to dive into this? Or did you kind of come up with the idea and then say, hey, your skill set's here, mine's here. How can we both do this? What did that look like?
That's interesting.
Rock, paper, scissors.
So, like I said in the beginning, we didn't know what business we were going to go with. We had no idea. We went from lawn care to restaurants. We went so back and forth. And so when we decided on Zoomin Groomin, I think it became very obvious that most of it was going to be me because I'm good with people. I love people. And so that's when we just sat down and realized we needed to figure out, okay, what are we each good at? Who's going to stick with what? And that's what we rolled with. But there are definitely days where it's difficult because it seems like I'm doing more and I could use more help. And same thing, like he feels like he's not getting enough. So still balancing, figuring it out. But the reality is we feel like we could do anything together. And we knew that from day one. We knew that we didn't belong working for someone else. We both needed to be running a business together, and he had tried many over the years. And we think that the reason he didn't succeed to the fullest was because we weren't together as a team yet. And so we feel like we can do anything.
Stick to that story. Yeah. Okay. So, and I think a lot of people listening can relate to your statement of, we knew that we just weren't amazing working for other people. Because I think if you are meant to be an entrepreneur, you can be a good employee because obviously you're good at getting things done, but there's something in you that doesn't really leave if you're meant to be doing something different or doing your own thing. Like you can kind of make it quiet for a little bit, but it just never goes away. So talk a little bit about what has that felt like making that transition? Scary, exhilarating?
For me, it's exhilarating. I feel like I knew all along from the time I was very young that I didn't belong working for other people. Now, I learned a lot at every job that I held, but it was like this fire was just inside of me, and I knew that there was something greater I was supposed to be doing for myself and for my family. And so I never got nervous. I've never felt nervous. I just don't think failure is an option. And I just feel like as long as you can stay positive and learn from every mistake that you make, that there is no failure.
Great mindset.
Yes. And crucial because, isn't entrepreneurship a little bit like that? So you've talked a lot about the support that Zoomin Groomin has, which we love hearing. We also picked up on right from the beginning from speaking to them. That team was phenomenal. I could sing their praises. So what other sort of things, Renee? Obviously, they had a great support system for you, but there's always things that along the way we're like, no, thought this was going to be a little bit different.
Marketing is not my strong suit. That's something I'm not great at. So a lot of support came in there. And there have been times where I've gotten calls, hey, I don't know that you should have put that up. Maybe you should take that down and try it this way. So thankfully, there's a lot of support there. But one of the biggest things I struggled with is Facebook marketing, spammers and hackers trying to get into you've got a target on your back when you start a page on Facebook. So you have to really protect that. And they come at you trying to pretend that they are Meta just so they can hack into your account, and they scare you and make you think your whole page is about to be deactivated. So that was the biggest struggle for me. I fell for it, and I learned a lesson.
Note to self. Lessons learned by Renee. So another thing you mentioned, and this is a very common thing that we hear, Renee, and I can feel like your passion, I can already feel is going to be a great answer for this. You talked a little bit about recruiting your team and how you build that culture with your values. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Okay. So I want to start out by saying it wasn't easy. And that's something I actually hear from a lot of other franchisees too. It's starting out, building the team. You feel like you're never in the beginning, you feel like it's not going to happen for you. I had a rough start, and I think most of us have. But man, I have a phenomenal team right now. And I feel like a lot of it is because I'm real with them, and I let them know right off the bat that that is the most important thing to me, honesty. Um, I make it a point to lead by example and to always make them feel appreciated. Obviously, the interview and the hiring process, that's a whole nother thing. Very experienced groomers is very important. But to me, the most important thing is honesty, loyalty, and looking for people who share the same values, caring, patience, kindness. So those are things that go a long way. And I try every day to lead by example so that is all reflected by my team.
What a great shout out for them. I really thought you were going to go a different direction, Renee. I was picturing like I have my dog go in there.
Oh, that's part of the interview process. They have to do a test groom on my dog first.
See, there you go. Efficient.
So I
What's your
have
dog's
I have
name?
2 dogs. Max is the one that requires the haircut. So that's usually the test dog. He's a little Yorkie Chihuahua mix. And then I have a Doberman named Maze.
Great thing.
And honestly, if she tolerates them, then that's a good sign. She's a good judge of character.
What's something that people get wrong about it, or like a misconception that they have about what mobile grooming is?
A lot of people think that mobile grooming is where we actually come into your home. And I think that's because there are some in-home groomers out there that present themselves as mobile groomers, but that's not it at all. That's in-home grooming is literally in-home. Mobile, I want everybody to know I mean, we come to you, we specialize in that one-on-one care for their pets and in the comfort of their own front yard. So that's really the most common thing I've heard is people a lot of times think, oh, they're going to come into my home, they're going to make a mess. I don't know if that's something big all across the country, but it certainly has been in Florida. So
I can imagine a lot of people would be very interested in this, specifically in Florida. Is that a bias? I can imagine Florida
it's
people
super
would like
common.
this.
And especially during season when we have a lot of the snowbirds that come down or the seasonal residents that come down, which it's coming. It's just around the corner. And oh yeah, they're all about it. They want to enjoy their time in Florida, kick back and relax, and they don't want to spend their time running around to the groomer and their pet spending all day at the groomer, which is the biggest thing. When you take your dog to the spa, they're not there just for the time that it takes to groom them. They're there the majority of the day. And there's multiple people working on one pet. So that really appeals to a lot of people. They just want the groom to be quick and they don't want to have to leave home. So that's what we see.
And you mentioned earlier the car ride. I would find, so we used to have a Jeep, and that was like the designated car because we had a shedding dog at the time. And Cooper, who, Yorkie Poo, so he doesn't shed. But like even just that car ride of then there's hair in the car, and you find yourself, if you just cleaned your car, you want your dog to be clean, but you don't want all the hair in your clean car. Okay, talk a little bit about either how you expand or what you're excited about coming up. Is it more vans? What does this look like for you to grow?
It's actually one thing that does get me nervous. It's like an exciting nervous though. So we have 2 vans now, and that was what I was the most nervous about. And it's funny you're talking about upcoming because we're already talking about getting our 3rd van. And honestly, we aren't completely booked with the 2 vans right now, but it's not season for us. It's such a seasonal thing down in Florida. But we are so ready to expand a little farther north from where we're at right now and just grow. And to me, it excites me because that means I'm going to grow my team too. And right now, we have the five groomers who work for us, and while they're all fantastic, they each have different specialties. And so I just can't even imagine how exciting it's going to be to add more amazing people to our team and to be able to offer even more to the people in our community. So that's exciting. It makes me nervous that the idea of gaining enough clients. Can I do this? I don't want to fail my team. I want to make sure we have enough clients and enough appointments to fill everybody's schedule, right? So, but yeah, we're looking at band number 3 soon, and it's very exciting.
That is very exciting. I can see the kids doing marketing for you, Renee, with like those little poster boards. You know,
My 10-year-old has our Zoomin Groomin business card in the back of his phone and keeps it everywhere he goes. And he passes the cards out. Absolutely love it. I've actually gained at least one customer that I can think of off the top of my head. She called and said, this little boy came into my restaurant where I worked and handed me this card. He asked if I had pets and handed me this card. I'm like, I love it. I love it.
See, look how much you are teaching them, Renee. At the end of the day, write down a list of like 15 things that you have taught them. And like, just take some time to think about it. And then when you start to feel a little bit of the disconnect of time and things like that, that'll be really good for you to look back on. I could see the way you lit up when you talked about the expansion, and I know you could too. We could feel the energy through the screen about you talking about this expansion and what it will bring. And I'm assuming the skill sets and the impact that it's going to be able to bring. You've had a lot of experience with expansion and leading teams. Would you give Renee any advice as they're heading to
I think that community that you serve will support you in that expansion because you've already put it in, right? She's a go-giver, right? And they're going to circle right back around you. Is this an awkward time to say I represent your son and he wants a raise? I will work that in, you know.
I will say that their 2 boys, their raises were getting put into a baseball academy where they still get to homeschool, but literally all day they're being trained to be better athletes. So that was their raise. They got to go to that school.
And just hearing again and again these ways that you are impacting your family with this business. I mean, that is huge. And they know that. Like, they know that the reason they now get to be in a school where they're playing baseball and doing what I'm assuming they love is because you and your husband started this business. So it's just speaking volumes, and it's coming out in all these different ways that they're not sneaky. They're blinding for me, but maybe in your family, they're a little bit sneaky of how they're representing themselves.
I'm getting a little emotional
It's
thinking
amazing
about it because it's something that I get so busy and caught up in every day that sometimes it's hard to sit back and really take it all in. So it's really nice to hear your view on it. And you're right. I mean, things are not perfect, but every day we really are doing something great for our family. It makes me happy, makes me proud.
Yeah. And there's no perfect stories out there. I mean, as far as families go and doing things, and you're teaching them such lessons, they may just skip that whole employee thing and come right out of the gate business owners.
That would be awesome. That would make us very proud.
Yeah, that's great.
They can fire themselves and hire themselves back,
or if they work together or fire each other, that would be more like it. That would be more brotherly.
So is there any last thoughts or anything that you want to make sure you share? Like, because everybody's in this adventure, they don't always realize that other people, and I appreciate you saying, I'm a little nervous about this expansion because they think everybody just shows up confident, you know, with your cape and go, let's do it. It's an emotional journey. But is there any last thoughts you want to share? Something you go, hey, listen, this is it.
So I think that, for one, if anyone is thinking about buying into a franchise and hesitant about it, just do your research, meditate about it, pray about it if you believe in that like I do, and just talk to other franchisees and see what kind of support they have. But being nervous is so normal, but having confidence. I have a saying that is going to sound a little raw and a little weird, but fake it till you make it. When I say that, I don't mean be fake. I mean, just wear that confidence so well, no matter how nervous you are. Just wear that confidence. And I feel like if you fake it till you make it with that confidence, you can do anything.
We are proud that today's episode was brought to us by Imperial Design and Display.
You know, Elizabeth, when you walk into a retail store and you see all the products, the merchandise, the racks, all that good stuff.
Yes, everything that distracts.
There you go. That's what Imperial Design and Display does. They're a U.S. manufacturing company, which big for me, all right, made in the USA. They do everything from design, installation to program management. They get it done.
Yeah, and the caliber of brands that they work with is very impressive. Not trying to be a name dropper.
Drop some names.
Here we go. We're talking GameStop, Williams-Sonoma, Best Buy, Home Depot, Caribou Coffee, and some high caliber brands.
Right. And not only do they make it look good, it's functional and they're cost conscious.
Which we love. So we are proud to have them as one of our sponsors for the Built for Profit podcast. That is Imperial Design and Display.
And Elizabeth, I have to give a little shout out. I love a good tagline. They have a good tagline. Let's move at the speed of retail together. So imperialdesigndisplay.com and click on the link to get more information about Imperial Design Display.
We'll see you in the next episode.